Physical is so fucking difficult, plus it's miserable, trying to act normal when you know the truth, and it's abnormal. I'm looking towards the stars, trying to find the answers to the questions of life. The question tonight is, what happens when we cross over? Is there an afterlife? Do we walk closer with God, the creator of existence? Dear Jehovah, do I have a witness? Life's a circus, you gotta rise to the surface, cause we supply a service to a higher purpose.
Alright, what up everybody? We're back. Slim Swayze, Take the Red Pill Show. Learn the truth. Sorry I had a bit of a tech issue. Wingedknight, I hope you're still listening. I want to bring you on air for a minute, or for a few minutes. It's 45 minutes to 11, so I want to get the show finished up for around 11. It'd be great. So, where are you at here on Skype? If you could message me, or where is it, Jordan? There. Alright, so there we go. I'm gonna call Jordan up right now, Wingedknight, and see about getting him on air. Go ahead and Nate, email me that track, as well as I'm gonna try and play this SARS track tonight after me and Wingedknight are off air. So I'm calling you hear me okay right now?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you okay, man.
Yeah, I can hear you too. How's it going, bro?
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. No problem. So, yeah, man. Take a few minutes, and I'm interested in hearing some of the research that you've been doing and stuff like that. So, let me know what's going on. Let the people know what's going on.
Well, let's start off when about January 21st, the 9/11 Citizens Commission sent out an email to the donors. But the story gets a little deeper. We finally got Mike Raval's side of the story, but it still seems like all that money is now gone. My main point of this is, why are we trying to do the same thing over and over again when we know we will never get a fair trial in the United States of America? Look what happened when Ariel Golop, who, if I pronounced her name wrong, I'm sorry, but she was there. And when she tried to do this, I believe in 2007, they kind of basically said, we're going to punish you. So they slapped him in the face and charged her with another $15,000 fine for even going after this. It's kind of like, why are people really trying? The best goal, in my view now, is to go to Canada and do it in Canada and bring it onto a world stage. We just had the Toronto hearings, and those were amazing. Some of the best people we had there, and that's what we needed. We needed to bring this up on a academic level. We needed to get professors, scientists, and all these people involved, and that's what's happened now. People are waking up. They're done with the bullshit in this world.
I got. This is the way I look at 9/11. Maybe I'm wrong. The way I look at 9/11 right now is it was 10 years ago. And unless we are willing to hold Nuremberg-style trials,
Exactly.
if we find out who and what was responsible, then it doesn't matter. What I am interested in is people stealing money and using 9/11 to this day to put money in their pockets, taking money like Luke Radowski did from We Are Change. This situation, but as far as investigate 9/11, it's been 10 years. It's not going to happen. And even if it does, unless we're willing to hold people responsible, there's no point. We got things we need to try to do now.
Exactly.
Right? Do you agree with that, or?
I agree with that, but the experts have done the investigating. We know, due to physics, that those three buildings should never have collapsed, nor the Pentagon and all the conspiracy wrapped all around this. Indeed, everything the Dangerous's tracks were also dope. I loved them all. Everything was it was deep on multiple levels.
Good stuff, eh? Yeah, it's phenomenal really album, man, front to back. It's a phenomenal album. It fits in exactly with you know, the type of artist I try to get on this show, just a normal dude, you know, trying to make the world a better place through his music. The guy's, you know, far from rich. He's actually broke, just like me, just like you probably, and just like a lot of us in this chat room. So that's why I say, you know, if people do like it and they can't afford to buy the album or even go buy a couple tracks to support, I highly suggest people doing that.
So, in the spite of this and the money being transferred, but while Mike Raval was at the international hearings on the events of September 11, 2001, he spoke about the Citizens Commission, and really it's a fantastic idea. Go around, get people involved, say, hey, look, we want to put this on a ballot for a new investigation, okay? It's great. But what he has done is he's taken and he's put it towards his NI4D investigation. It's where basically it's a national state level where people can actually change the laws and stuff, which is, I recommend. It's positive, but it's not going to work. You're never going to get a fair trial in the United States. Like, unfortunately, the United States is now Israel's bitch. It really is. Like, that's how things have gone. In 1934,
it's bigger than that, though. Even
no, it's a lot bigger than that. It's coming down to the whole.
Because I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression here on the show. I don't promote the idea that it's the Jew here on this show.
No labels.
But people can go and find that. People can go and find the evidence if they want to think that it is the Jew. There is evidence out there that it is, but there's also evidence that there's a whole lot of different groups, you know, doing it.
I don't want to label anyone or anything else like that
exactly,
right now.
Good. I didn't think you did. That's why I wanted to mention that, because it's I don't want to. There is a fine line, and I've said some very anti-Israeli things and anti-Canadian Jewish Congress things as well when they act wrong. Wrong is wrong is wrong, right? And I'll call it out when I believe that it's wrong.
The biggest goal is our education system teaches us how to supposedly be, but when we look at the world, the people running the world don't do that. They are completely off of that track. They're on a single one-minded, you know, their New World Order plan, and we don't fit into their eugenics plan, basically. And they've gained control over the banking institutions. Basically, in 1934, we nationalized the Canadian bank for us, okay? Because back then, there was a whole big time when Canada didn't have enough money in our system. There was people who needed to work, people wanted people to work, and there was drive, right? But there wasn't enough money in the system. That made a whole bunch of Canadians concerned about the future. How are we going to protect our Canadian future? So they got together, and they basically nationalized the Canadian bank for us. So we could, if Canada needed this much money for this year, we would put it into the system at almost 0% interest because we're a sovereign nation. Unfortunately, I guess people forgot about this, and in 1974, I believe it was the Tories, they adopted this fractional reserve lending system, and they borrow money from these private banks that are owned by individuals, and they put the interest on our heads, and we're stuck in a perpetual debt almost. We're now paying interest on interest. It's retarded. It's like, that's why I'm at this point now with the whole citizens investigation and Mike Raval. I feel that I don't myself.
But based on what you were just talking about, I don't know if there's anyone in there, whether you're Canadian or not, if you haven't watched the film called "Oh Canada, Our Bought and Sold Out Land," I highly suggest you watch it. The documentary, especially if you're Canadian, but it has everything to do with what my man Wingedknight was just talking about.
Indeed, I haven't watched it myself, but I'll definitely.
Well, do yourself a favor and go and check it out, man. It's called "Oh Canada, Our Bought and Sold Out Land." Excuse me. And it talks all about our banking system in Canada and some of the problems with it. We do have a better system than the United States right now, but our system is far from perfect.
Well, the United States has been screwed realistically since 1915.
Yeah, that's not saying much that our system is better than the United States
what I want
at all.
Canadians to become aware of is that if we don't stop this now, unfortunately, Canada will follow the same protocol which is occurring in the United States. No banking institution has ever really lasted more than 100 years. ever. Like if we think
I
about that,
posted a video today of a guy that couldn't pay his mortgage at Bank of America yesterday
I actually
with
saw that.
cash.
And, I was kind of concerned because that's basically what I've been saying. These pieces of paper are worthless now, and a whole bunch of people who are blinded and not paying attention is like, hey guys, your pieces of paper are worth nothing, and we're gonna rob you again. There are some greedy people in this world. There's 7 billion people on our planet right now.
Well, that's so true. Let's use an example. I don't know if you know anybody who's a rich snob, and a rich snob to me is somebody who owns like a $500,000 house and maybe has a million or two in the bank, right? And look at how these people act.
My point is, we have billionaires in
With
society.
reality these people are. Just take a minute then and think about the elite that don't even deal in reality. No one ever questions them, even if they have a retarded idea. It's like, oh yeah, right on, sir. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
So we wonder why things are the way they are.
Well, they're psychopaths in my own mind. If I look at, like, for me, they're psychopaths.
Well, yeah, you got to ask yourself what type of person has that narcissistic drive for power. There is some elites that are born into these families that are, good people, some of them. And then there's people that are born in these families that are just narcissistic. But we also need to recognize that there's narcissistic people everywhere. Black, brown, rich, poor, Jew, not Jew, Christian. There's good and evil in all things. But when you have this elitist mindset, like what I was just talking about a minute ago, people get so far out of touch with reality and what's really going on the ground
They
that
feel like
they
they
can
can't
lose
do
sight.
stuff.
And Germany was a perfect example of that.
Hmm.
But what can we do about it, right?
So,
We can't
exactly,
organize
what can we do?
properly. We can try to take advantage of our community radio stations, or I noticed you've been trying to get some meetings going in Toronto with some people, and all we can do is try to keep fighting and try to make the world a better place, right?
Well, here's the key. Step one: if we really want to change the world, we have to change ourselves first. And I started meditating, I started clearing my mind, and it works. It really works. You don't block out all the other stuff when you meditate. You kind of you understand that it's there, but you focus on what you're like to calm yourself, to find your inner peace, and it works. And that's what's gotten me to the point where, hey, if we don't get active, and because I care about our future, it's our future, and unfortunately, why are you going to give your future to someone else? They're going to exploit you. When any time in our past, when we've seen our freedoms given up for certain things, it's always been exploited on us. When we look at the G20 in Toronto, we saw how many of our rights get taken away. This is Canada. I don't know why we're not on the streets demanding change every single day. Like, our banking system needs to get fixed. We need to sue them.
It's been happening for a long time, man. Look at Waco. Look at Ruby Ridge. On and on and on it goes. And it's been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And the G20 here in Toronto is what got me going. But it was the same in Pittsburgh. It's the same in Italy. It's the same in France. Every time these elites get together, it was $1 billion security here in Canada. Biggest mass arrest in Canadian history. I've had Alex Hundred on my show. He was part of the conspiracy group, supposedly, that was raided, and the guy spent, a couple months in jail, got out, went and spoke at Ryerson, and then as soon as he left Ryerson, was arrested because it said in his release forms that he wasn't allowed to have a public protest. Well, I didn't know that speaking at a university was a public protest. People have no idea some of the things that have been going on, and they don't want to know. A lot of them just don't want to know. It's scary shit, and they would rather keep their head down and